Have you ever stopped to think that that bloated feeling, that constant weight in your abdomen, those gases that appear at the most inconvenient time possible might not be normal? That maybe your body isn't simply being difficult or feeling its age? What if I told you there is something happening inside your intestines right now at this very moment that no one has ever taken the care to explain to you properly? Three hidden causes are blocking the functioning of your digestive system, and most people spend years, sometimes their entire lives, without discovering what they are. Today, that changes. Over years of studying and following people who suffered from exactly what you are feeling, I came across something that disturbed me deeply. Most of them had already tried everything. They had folders full of exams, shelves with laxatives, drawers full of teas that promised the world, people who ate vegetables, drank water, walked every day, and yet continued to feel trapped inside their own bodies. What was missing was not effort. What was missing was the right information at the right time, applied the right way. Before continuing, I need to tell you something important. Your body is not broken. Your gut is not betraying you. What is happening is that it is sending clear signals that it needs help, and no one taught you how to read them. Bloating is not your enemy. Gas is not your punishment. They are the language your digestive system uses when it is overloaded, when it is dry inside, when it has lost reflexes it once had and can have back. And I'm going to show you exactly how to make that happen with simple steps, without aggressive medicines, without expensive procedures. But before we dive together into this content that can completely change your relationship with your body, do one thing for me now. Leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and tell me here in the comments how long you have been living with this bloating or trapped gut. It could be a week, it could be 20 years. I want to get to know you and understand what you are facing. This comment could be the first step of a real turnaround in your health. You know that person who drinks water all day long, carries a bottle everywhere, and still has a trapped gut, a bloated belly, feeling like nothing works, right? Well, that person might be exactly you. And the problem is not the amount of water you drink. The problem is when you drink it and what you drink before it. Because there is a silent form of dehydration that doesn't hurt, doesn't warn you, and gradually dries out your intestines from the inside day after day without you noticing. Think with me. Your first action in the morning is to have a coffee, right? It seems harmless. It even seems healthy to many people. But coffee is a diuretic. It literally pulls water from your body in the first hours of the day, exactly when your gut needs hydration most to function. Your intestinal cells wake up parched after hours without liquid, and instead of receiving what they need, they receive a substance that drains them even further. It's like trying to put out a fire by throwing gasoline on it. The result is an increasingly sluggish gut, increasingly hard stools, and that heavy feeling that doesn't go away. And there is a detail that almost no one talks about. Without adequate hydration in the early hours of the morning, your gut cannot produce the natural gel that lubricates everything inside and makes stools move smoothly. Without this gel, everything gets stuck, compacted, stuck to the walls like dry cement, and then you eat more fiber trying to solve it, but fiber without water becomes just one more block inside you and the situation worsens. It's a cruel cycle that repeats every day, and most people don't even suspect they are trapped in it. What few know is that intestinal dehydration has a ripple effect that goes far beyond the gut. When your intestinal cells are dry, they absorb water from anywhere they can, including from the very stools they are trying to expel. Result: stools that are harder and harder, increasingly difficult to eliminate, and more pain and discomfort in the process. Your body is literally stealing from one side to try to compensate for what is missing from the other. And that is not weakness of your organism. It is desperation. It is your body trying to survive with what it has. The good news, and there is very concrete good news here, is that studies show that simply correcting the timing and temperature of the water you consume in the morning can improve intestinal transit time by up to 45%. 45%. That's not a small thing. That's almost half the problem solved with a single simple adjustment to your day. But before we get to the solution, you need to understand the second hidden cause because it explains why your gut stopped responding even when you do everything right, and it has to do with an automatic reflex your body lost without warning. Did you know that your body has an automatic mechanism, a sort of ignition button that should turn your gut on every morning without you having to do absolutely anything? This mechanism exists, it has a scientific name, and it is probably turned off inside you right now. It is called the gastrocolic reflex, and it is the direct communication between your stomach and your large intestine. When it works right, it's the one that gives the order for your body to prepare to eliminate. When it's turned off, nothing happens, no matter how much you force it, no matter how long you wait. And here's the problem. This reflex works like a muscle. If you don't use it, it atrophies. If for years you woke up rushing, drank coffee without water first, swallowed breakfast standing up in a hurry to leave the house, your stomach never received the right stimulus to trigger this signal to the gut. It's like an intercom that went so long without being buzzed that it simply stopped working. Your gut kept waiting for an order that never arrived every day for years. And it became slower, lazier, quieter until the point where you are today, stuck and without understanding why. What happens in practice is devastating for those who suffer from this. The person wakes up, goes to the bathroom, sits, forces, nothing, tries again after coffee, nothing, eats, waits, forces again. And when something happens, it's with pain, with effort, with that feeling that the body is fighting against them. And the cruelest part is that it's not a lack of will. It's not laziness of the gut. It's simply the absence of a signal that the gut learned to stop expecting. Your gut gave up on listening because it stopped being called the right way. Science is very clear about this. The gastrocolic reflex is triggered when the empty stomach receives a volume of liquid that gently stretches its walls. This stretching sends a direct message to the colon saying it's time to prepare, to move, to make space. And the temperature of this liquid matters much more than you imagine. Cold water contracts the stomach muscles instead of relaxing them, blocking the signal before it is even sent. Warm water at body temperature relaxes, stimulates, and flips the switch that was off. The question that remains now is, how long does it take for this reflex to start working again after years of dormancy? The answer will surprise you, and it is directly linked to the third hidden cause I haven't told you yet, because there is a mistake most people make exactly when they try to do the right thing, when they try to eat healthier, when they increase fiber in their diet. And this mistake turns an attempted solution into the greatest aggravator of the problem. In the next topic, you will understand exactly what is happening. If someone has already told you to eat more fiber to solve a trapped gut, know that this advice, without the right complement, might be doing exactly the opposite of what it should. And it's not your fault if you followed this guidance and became even more bloated, even more gassy, even more stuck than before. This happens to thousands of people every day. Good people who are trying to take care of themselves, who are doing what they were told was healthy. The problem is not the fiber itself. The problem is what no one told you about how it works inside your body. Think of a completely dry sponge. If you try to push that sponge through a pipe, it will jam, it will scrape, it will create resistance at every inch of the way. Now think of the same sponge soaked in water. Soft, flexible, sliding smoothly. That is exactly how fiber works inside your gut. Without enough water, it doesn't form that soft, malleable volume that pushes everything forward. It turns into a compact, dry mass that accumulates, presses, and worsens the blockage you were trying to solve. It's like throwing more dirt into a pipe that is already blocked. And what makes this even more frustrating is that the symptoms of fiber without water are identical to the symptoms of the trapped gut itself. More bloating, more gas, more discomfort, more feeling of weight. So the person eats the salad, feels worse, thinks the problem is more serious than they thought, gives up on the salad, goes back to the laxative, and the cycle begins again. They never discover they were one glass of water away from the solution, literally. One glass of water, along with the fiber, completely changes the result inside your gut. There is another point that aggravates all this and that almost no one mentions. There are two types of fiber, soluble and insoluble, and they need different amounts of water to work. Insoluble fiber, the kind in bran, whole grain bread, peels, needs much more liquid so as not to become a compact block. Soluble fiber, present in oats, flaxseed, chia, forms a protective gel when hydrated, and this gel is exactly what your gut needs to function smoothly. But if you eat dry chia, eat dry flaxseed, eat oats with little liquid, you are losing all the benefit and even creating another obstacle. The most important thing you need to keep from this is the following. Increasing fiber without increasing water is a mistake that turns allies into enemies. And now that you already know the three hidden causes that were blocking everything, the most important part of this video has arrived, because knowing the problem is only half the way. The other half is the protocol, the exact step-by-step that will reactivate your gut naturally without aggressive medicines, without invasive procedures, starting as early as tomorrow morning. Stay with me because what comes now can completely change your routine. There is one thing you can do tomorrow morning before coffee, before your cell phone, before anything else that has the power to wake up your gut in a way that no laxative can imitate. It costs nothing, has no contraindications, and science has already proven it can improve the functioning of your intestinal transit by up to 45%. It is simple to the point of seeming impossible that something like this works, but it is exactly this simplicity that makes most people ignore it and continue suffering for years unnecessarily. The secret lies in a glass of warm water taken the right way at the right time. What you are going to do is this. As soon as you wake up, before anything else, you are going to drink between 300 and 500 milliliters of warm water. Not cold, not hot, warm, at a temperature that is pleasant to the touch. And here are the three scientific reasons that explain why this works so well. First, warm water relaxes the muscles of the stomach and intestine, preparing the whole system to work. Second, the volume of liquid gently stretches the walls of the empty stomach, and this stretching triggers the gastrocolic reflex, that ignition button that was dormant. Third, this water passes quickly to the intestine because there is no food to hold it back, and it begins to hydrate the stools from the first minute of the day. Think of it like this. Your gut spent the whole night without receiving any liquid, any stimulus, any signal. It is literally in standby mode, waiting for an order to start working. When you pour warm water into that empty stomach, it's like pressing the on button of a machine that was turned off. The system wakes up, the muscles respond, the reflex is triggered, and everything starts to move again. It's not magic. It's pure physiology. It's your body doing exactly what it was designed to do when it receives the right stimulus. Now, there is a detail that makes all the difference and that most people get wrong. The temperature of the water matters much more than it seems. Ice cold water does the opposite of what you need. It contracts the stomach muscles instead of relaxing them, blocks the reflex before it is even triggered, and can cause discomfort that will make you give up the habit before even seeing results. Warm is the key word. Warm like a hug from the inside. It is this temperature that communicates to your digestive system that it is safe to relax, open, and flow. Carmen, one of the people I followed closely in this process, told me that after only 3 days following this morning ritual, she felt her first easy and complete bowel movement in months. It wasn't painful, it wasn't forced, it was natural, as it should always be. 3 days, not 3 months, not 3 weeks. 3 days to start feeling a real difference after years of suffering. And that was just the first step of the protocol, because in the next step, you will discover a simple food that most people eat the wrong way, and that when prepared correctly, acts as a powerful natural lubricant inside your gut. The night before, you will take 4 or 5 prunes and put them in a glass with water, leaving them there all night. In the morning, After your warm water, you eat these hydrated prunes and drink all the water from the glass as well without wasting a single drop. This detail of drinking the water from the glass is what most people don't do, and it is exactly where the greatest power of this method lies. Prunes contain a substance called sorbitol, a natural sugar that your body does not completely absorb, and which, upon reaching the intestine, acts like a sponge, attracting water to the stools and making everything smoother, easier, more natural. During the soaking, part of this sorbitol dissolves in the water in the glass. When you drink that water, you receive a concentrated dose of this natural laxative directly. And here is what makes this step even more powerful. Prunes also carry two types of fiber at the same time, soluble and insoluble, which work together in harmony inside your gut. Soluble fiber forms that protective and lubricating gel that makes everything slide smoothly. Insoluble fiber adds volume and pushes the contents forward with consistency. When you combine these two fibers with the sorbitol and with the hydration from the warm water you took before, you are creating the perfect conditions inside your gut for it to function the way it was designed, without force, without pain, without drama. The best part of all is that this ally does not create dependency, does not irritate the intestinal walls, and does not rob your body like chemical laxatives do. It simply gives your gut the tools it already knew how to use. It had just forgotten. And when you combine this step with the physiological awakening of warm water, results begin to appear at a speed that will surprise you. But the protocol doesn't stop here, because there are still two more steps that attack the problem from completely different angles, and one of them will solve that situation that most embarrasses you in daily life. If there is one thing that steals the quality of life from those who suffer from a trapped gut, it's not just the constipation itself, it's the gas. That feeling of a belly hard as a drum, that discomfort that appears right after eating, that anxiety of being in public and feeling that something inconvenient could happen at any moment. This keeps people away from family gatherings, from trips, from moments that should be joyful. And the solution for this lies in a plant that has existed for centuries, used by entire civilizations exactly for this purpose, and which modern science has already confirmed with total clarity. Fennel, also known as erva doce. What you are going to do is simple. A small spoonful of fennel seeds in a cup of hot water, cover it, let it rest for 10 minutes, strain, and drink warm. 2 to 3 cups a day, especially after meals. Fennel belongs to a category of plants called carminatives, and the active compound responsible for all this is called anethole. This compound acts directly on the smooth muscles of the intestine, relaxing the contractions that trap gas in place. When these muscles relax, the gases that were accumulated, causing pressure and pain, finally find a way to move and exit. It's like opening a valve that had been jammed for too long. One of the people I followed in this process told me that after 2 weeks of taking fennel regularly, she stopped feeling afraid of being at family gatherings. The gases that used to appear without warning practically disappeared, and she regained something that seems simple but is immeasurable: the lightness of being present in a moment without being worried about her own body all the time. And that is exactly the goal of everything we are building here together. It's not just to unblock the gut, it's to give you back the freedom to live without thinking about your stomach all the time. In the next step, you will learn how to use your own hands to stimulate the gut from the outside in a way that very few people know. There is a technique you can do lying in your own bed in the morning or before sleeping that physically stimulates the gut to move without any medicine, without any device, using only your own hands. It is an abdominal massage that follows exactly the path your colon takes inside the body. You start at the lower right part of the abdomen, just above the hip bone, and make gentle but firm circular movements moving up toward the ribs. Then cross to the left, massaging from one side to the other just below the ribs, and finally go down the left side to the groin. This path is not random. It is the exact map of your large intestine. What this massage does is mechanical and direct. It stimulates the external muscles of the abdomen, which in turn gently press the intestine underneath, activating the natural contractions that push contents forward. It's like manually helping those hallway lights turn on in sequence when the electrical system is weak. 5 to 10 minutes a day is already enough to feel a difference, especially for those who have little mobility or cannot exercise regularly. This step is particularly powerful when combined with the morning warm water because the gut is already stimulated from the inside and receives a push from the outside at the same time. And then there is the fifth and last step of the protocol, which is the pillar that supports everything built so far. Without it, the other four lose strength throughout the day. With it, results multiply and become permanent. It's about how you distribute hydration throughout the hours with a strategic detail that makes all the difference, especially for those who wake up several times at night to go to the bathroom. Drinking water all day is important, but drinking water the right way is what transforms everything. And the right way has a simple rule that completely changes the results. Don't wait for thirst to arrive. When you feel thirsty, your body is already in a mild state of dehydration, and your gut has already paid the price for it. Keep a bottle always within reach. Drink in small sips throughout the day, constantly and consciously, without needing to force large volumes at once. This continuous flow of hydration keeps the intestinal cells nourished, the lubricating gel produced, and stools soft all the time, not just in the morning when you took the warm water. But there is a strategic detail that makes all the difference, especially for those who wake up several times at night to go to the bathroom. Concentrate most of your fluid intake before 5 or 6 in the evening. After that time, reduce it gradually. This doesn't mean being thirsty at night. It means better distributing what you already drink. Sleeping well is an essential part of the protocol because during sleep, your digestive system works, organizes, and processes. Nights interrupted by trips to the bathroom break this cycle and harm the intestinal functioning of the following day. Taking care of sleep is taking care of the gut, and this connection is much deeper than it seems. And finally, combine this strategic hydration with smart fibers throughout the day. Green leafy vegetables, fruits with skins, oats, chia, and flaxseed, always left to soak before consuming. This combination ensures that stools maintain enough volume and softness to move easily, without effort, without pain. When you put the 5 steps together, the warm water in the morning, the hydrated prunes, the fennel after meals, the abdominal massage, and the strategic hydration throughout the day, you are no longer treating symptoms. You are rebuilding the natural functioning of your gut from the inside out. If you have made it this far, I want you to know that this says a lot about you. It says that you care about your own health, that you are not willing to accept suffering as something normal, and that you are in search of real answers. And that is exactly what we tried to build together throughout this video. Real answers based on how your body actually works. You learned that bloating, gas, and a trapped gut are not punishments of age. They are signals. Messages from your digestive system asking for 3 simple things: hydration at the right time, the right stimulus to reactivate dormant reflexes, and fiber accompanied by the water it needs to work in your favor. The 5 steps you received today, warm water upon waking, hydrated prunes, fennel after meals, abdominal massage, and strategic hydration throughout the day, are not fleeting tricks. They are habits that respect your body's physiology, that work with it instead of forcing it. And when practiced with consistency, they have the power to completely transform your relationship with your own body, not overnight, but in a real progressive and lasting way. Start tonight by putting the prunes to soak. Tomorrow morning, take the warm water. Give your body 2 days, just 2, to show you what it is capable of when it receives what it needs. Before you go, I need to tell you something very important. The content shared here is exclusively for informational and educational purposes. It does not replace a consultation with a healthcare professional. It is not a medical prescription, and it should not be treated as a diagnosis. Every body is unique, and if you have persistent symptoms, intense abdominal pain, blood in your stools, unexplained weight loss, or any other sign that concerns you, seek a doctor immediately. Take care of yourself with information, but also take care of yourself with professional follow-up. Now, if this video gave you something real today, something you will take with you into your life, do me a huge favor. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and share it with someone you love who might be suffering in silence with this same problem. See you in the next video.